That's all. You can grab it if you want.
Yeah.
You can pull it out if you want.
Yeah, you can grab it if you want.
Just get it right in there.
Yeah, just grab it.
Is this good?
Yeah, you can pull it out.
Welcome to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is Colin, and next to me is Alex from Winterlong.
Hi.
That was usual. Is the doctor himself.
Hello.
And as always, we're joined by our producer, Richard, who's gonna get so drunk this episode.
Yeah, we messed up the nog ratio.
I'm trying to remember what I have to say. But
Hey, Richard. Richard, nog nog.
Who's there? Oh, wait.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC comics and movies while fielding questions from listeners like you.
While on the 5th day of DocMas, the doctor gave to me 5 Morrison screams, 4 edit points, 3 for name Broncos, 2 bad impressions, and some comic books from DC.
And in news...
Seamless.
Yeah.
Injustice 2, the Atom gameplay trailer has arrived.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I know. Can we just, I'll pay for it. Can we just get this game so we can play it?
Yeah, okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Because, so there's all sorts of, DLC for this game. They've added all sorts of, different characters you can play. We talked about Hellboy, which is not a DC character, but you can play as Hellboy in Injustice 2. You can also play now as the Atom. And his... sometimes when they reveal new characters, they're what they're called premier skins, where they have a different voice and different costume, but they're based on the template of a similar character. So Vixen and Cheetah have the same kind of moves or things like that. But the Atom is totally unique, and that gameplay trailer shows him shrinking and growing. It's the coolest sort of dynamic for that fighting game.
It's like if they made an Ant-Man game, but it was good.
You know the usual Mortal Kombat thing where you crouch to dodge something? That one he just shrinks to get out of the way.
But then he goes really, really big too and punches the guy into the ground.
His super move has him go giant size. Yeah. It looks amazing.
Or he uses atom abilities with the actual atoms going all around him and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It looks really, really cool. I think it's probably maybe the most unique character that they've come out with yet in terms of how they play and what it looks like. But yeah, so the Atom is available. Also, I think the Enchantress is one you can play now as well. But I feel like her powers are modeled off the Dr. Fate template, like another magic user. But the Atoms seem very specific, very unique.
You know what's funny too is the character model kind of looks like Jeremy Renner. If you look at the face.
I guess a little bit.
It's weird. It's just a weird thing I noticed.
Yeah.
That is a weird thing to notice, man.
Yeah. It's 5 episodes in, man.
One day we'll have an episode with momentum. Where it doesn't just stop short.
Yeah, we kind of blow the load at the news there. That seamless transition, and then it's all over.
Yeah, now it's a mess.
It's just a nightmare.
So we have a special guest.
Oh my God, Alex!
This episode.
Hello, my name's Alex.
Hi, Alex.
And, so what's up?
Well, we're into the 5th episode of a day of recording 12 episodes. We're decently seasoned, I would say, with eggnog.
Seasonal, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
festive.
I know from non-podcasting that you're a comic book guy. We've had long chats about things. You came to see Justice League with us when we all went out. So I'm excited to have you here, but before we get to questions and things like that,
you just make sure your mic's on too. Make sure it's flicked up.
It is on.
Perfect. Okay, just double checking.
Okay, yeah. That's a good call.
That'd be really funny actually if we did all this with his mic off.
We'd have to ADR it.
And so all you would hear is these weird little ghost whispers of
fix it in post. Yeah, so before we get before we get all the way into it, how did you first come to comic books? What made you get into superheroes and things like that?
Well, I was a kid who was raised on cartoons and also VHS box sets of cartoons.
Totally.
Way back in the day of the 90s. And also the random, weird comic books that you would find at the Salvation Army and antique sales.
Right. The ones that people didn't think were, worth anything, so they'd get rid of really easily.
Or the ones that people thought were, worth a lot, but weren't.
Right. Right.
So, it was, weird things like the Vietnam-themed offshoot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles called Grunts.
Oh, jeez. I don't know that at all. That's amazing.
That's the stuff that people would just be I don't know, you like comic books, here's something I found one day and give it to me.
This is technically a comic book.
Yeah. So, all of that, and then, just got into stuff the way most people do, you're watching Scooby-Doo, and you're watching, the Cesar Romero era Batman, and then you find out that there's Scooby-Doo meets Batman.
Yep.
Which...
Fuck yeah.
Fantastic film if no one's ever seen it. The Joker plays a wood nymph to somehow get control of, I think it's a junkyard.
That seems like classic Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Yeah.
The Scooby-Doo heists or capers were always in the worst possible businesses, an abandoned amusement park, some sort of crap like that.
They're always doubloons.
Yeah. Old Man McGregor wanted control of the pier. just the shittiest places. All right, well, let's get into it then. I mean, did you have something you wanted to talk about or ask a question about? We can kind of get into it.
Yeah, I actually do, because I was sitting in listening to the last episode that was recorded where you guys were talking about Future's End.
Yes.
And that's something that I am painstakingly trudging through.
That sounds about right.
It was a very cool thing in the beginning.
Yeah, the concept was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a great concept.
It's an amazing
let's bring Terry McGinnis back.
Yeah.
So what is the deal with Terry McGinnis in modern DC?
Right. So yeah, like you were saying, so Future's End, the whole idea was this is how we're going to fold Batman Beyond officially into the main continuity of DC Comics, which is amazing. And they were going to do it via Brother Eye, that he comes from this future where Brother Eye has taken over and sort of basically body horror cyborged all of the Justice League. And Terry has to go back in time to stop the whole thing from happening. Which is an amazing concept. And then the whole story just kind of meanders, goes every which way. Now, how far are you in Future's End right now?
Right now, Deathstroke showed up with a child.
Oh, shit. With Father Time, that one?
No, Father Time is, has sent Frankenstein to space.
Oh, yeah.
Frankenstein monster.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Technically,
well, his surname would still be Frankenstein.
yeah. Jeb Frankenstein.
Yeah, no, most people don't know his name is Jeb. He's a good old country boy.
And they
please clap.
I think they cut off Hawkman's arm.
Yes. Yeah, Hawkman
They stole his arm.
Yeah.
To replenish Frankenstein's. And
yeah, that starts working weird stuff with him because the nth metal in Hawkman's system starts affecting sort of the undead nature of Frankenstein a little bit.
Because nth metal can do anything that the plot needs.
Exactly. That's its property. It's plot armor. It's yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to. I know you're saying it's a trudge and that sort of thing, but I don't want to spoil Future's End for you.
But the end is good.
But suffice it to say that Terry McGinnis is Batman Beyond in main continuity Batman. Where is he right now? Back in the future, in sort of a restored timeline. I mean, it should be no surprise that they, in some manner, defeat Brother Eye. I won't tell you how. But basically, yeah, Terry is Batman Beyond. What's happening right now, I believe we talked about it a little bit on a previous episode, but he was grappling with this sort of hyper-advanced Beyond suit that was a little bit altering his brain or taking over. And you found out that was the real reason that Bruce retired, was that this suit was affecting his moral compass. And it was like going to make him like kill and things like that. So Bruce retired. And Terry found this suit because he had needed a new one. So yeah, Terry is Batman Beyond. Bruce is his like mentor.
And is Bruce still his weird half father by way of his father being genetically manipulated by Amanda Waller?
I believe so, because I think the idea in general is basically just to fold that series' continuity into the main one. So in terms of Batman Beyond, I would suspect that yes, Bruce is technically the pseudo-biological father of Terry McGinnis.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that. That's Epilogue was a very good episode.
It's an incredible episode. The Epilogue is the episode of Batman Beyond, of Justice League?
So it was a Justice League Unlimited episode.
That's right, yeah.
That was used as an end cap for a series that was canceled like 5 years before it aired.
That's right, yeah. And basically in that one, Terry McGinnis, who's already older in that time, he's probably in his 30s or like 40s, like he's like in like Batman age, he's not like a kid anymore. That Terry confronts a very old Amanda Waller, and learns that basically, even though she and the Justice League had kind of been at odds through the run of Justice League Unlimited, she had realized that the world needs a Batman, and Batman Beyond was her like government project. So she took Bruce's DNA and put it into Terry's father to rewrite his like sperm cells so that basically Bruce would be the father. And the idea was they were also going to kill Terry's parents in an alley.
Yeah, and they were going to hire the Phantasm.
Hire the Phantasm to do it, exactly.
Which is a really cool and interesting concept for fans of the best Batman movie.
Yep. And then the Phantasm can't do it, won't do it. But then, I say serendipitously, tragedy strikes the McGinnis family anyway, and Terry's father is killed. And it sort of sets him on the psychological path as well as the biological path to becoming Batman. So what you learn in that episode is that like he was basically engineered to take over the mantle of Batman, which is kind of messed up. But at the end of it, he kind of comes to terms with it.
Batmantle.
Yeah, the Batmantle, precisely.
That's what it would be called. It's true.
But yeah, I mean, like for years, he wasn't part of the main comic continuity. There were Batman Beyond comics, but they were set in the animated universe. But now because of Future's End, Batman Beyond actually exists as part of the fabric of the DCU. Terry McGinnis is officially like canon to DCU now.
See, I think that's good because that animated universe, like, it lasted, roughly 15 years on air?
Yeah, it was on for a long time. But when you look at, like, from the start of the Batman animated series and whatever year that was, like 1990 or 91 or something like that, all the way through, like, Justice League Unlimited didn't finish until, like, 2003.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, because they folded a lot of really good things that started in that into the main universe. Like everyone knows that Harley Quinn was in that.
Yep.
But also the modern backstory for Mr. Freeze came from that.
Precisely, yeah.
He had a terrible backstory before of he was just a guy stealing diamonds.
Yep. He started as Mr. Zero and in the original comics and then got renamed, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the animated series actually did birth a lot of really cool things that have been since folded into comics, but for some reason it took a really long time to get Terry in there. But he is there now.
Okay, well, I am glad, and thank you for explaining that.
Well, I do my best.
That is the intention of this podcast.
So we're going to jump over to Twitter.
Let's do it.
Twitter.
Kyle Clark. I don't know why I called him Carrie. That's weird.
Because we're 5 nogs in.
Nog nog.
Am I the only one who's feeling this right now?
Nah.
You should be.
I mean, this counts as 2 at least.
Yeah, we messed up yours.
I don't know how much is
that's
in
like
it.
3.
Fuck. Okay. Wait. Also,
So,
let's
Kyle
do.
Clark
Wait, hold on.
Twitter.
Hold on.
Okay.
Are we doing a bet on this, or who can make it to the end?
Oh, we're all making
I
it
don't
to
know.
the end.
What I am interested is like when you go to edit these to see like where the levels get untenable. Like we're like, whoa, they were just shouting for the last like 8 episodes.
I've definitely had to start like lowering the actual levels on the mixer. Are we?
I like that.
Do we
drunk-
want to do a bet to see?
I like that
It's too
drunk
far, man.
Richard is already being like managerial in everything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is it just me or is it getting very loud in here?
Yeah.
Is it just me or are my cheeks getting red?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was Nog 1.
Okay, so
That's true.
Kyle Clark.
Kyle Clark.
Oh, from This Is Rad podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that who you... Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hey, what's up? This is Rad. Keep it real.
You're rad.
That was rad.
Use your MD powers to bring back 7 Soldiers of Victory. That's not like a question. That's like a demand. Are we in trouble?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Do
it.
they know where we are?
The Seven Soldiers of Victory is
I don't even know what that
it's
is.
like a different super team, but they used a bunch of like sort of obscure characters like Shining Knight, Bullet Man, like stuff like that.
Alex, are you aware of these guys?
I think I've heard of the Shining Knight, but
Shining Knight
Bullet Man
was on
sounds
Justice League
interesting.
Unlimited. There's a great. He was often partnered up with Vigilante,
Yes.
who was like the cowboy theme.
Jonah Hex with all his face.
Yeah, yeah, precisely.
Jonah Hex. What a great movie.
Oh, Jonah Hex with all his face. That's a great way to describe it. That's really funny.
But he wears more of a mask.
Yeah, he hides more of it. Yeah, they really should swap costumes just for courtesy's sake. Yeah, so Seven Soldiers of Victory included like Shining Knight and like I said, Bullet Man and some like weird characters like that. Now, what Colin wouldn't like about it is that it was written by 5 Morrison Screams.
Morrison!
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting book, though. So I'm pretty sure Seven Soldiers of Victory came out around like Final Crisis. I'm positive it had like a bit of like a connection to that, but probably just because they came out around the same time. Morrison was working on both. I don't know that I can use my powers to bring that back. Morrison kind of does his own thing. You know, I don't think you make Morrison do anything. I'm still waiting for his Multiversity 2, which is meant to be like an exploration of like Flash through the multiverse. I'm still waiting on that. So I'd want to get that before Seven Soldiers comes back. But I would definitely, there is a Seven Soldiers series. It came out around like 2006, 2007, something like that. I would definitely read that. Yeah.
Lucy didn't appreciate that.
Well, it's Morrison.
The Doctor will be back after this quick break. This episode of the Dr. DC podcast is brought to you thanks to our sponsor, Great Lakes Grooming Company. They sent us some products to try, and they are awesome. My personal favorites are the pine tar soap. Gives me my classic Colin Close smell. Super minty, super fresh. And it's great to use either in the shower or just to wash your face with. And I also tried their lip balm, which helps keep my lips looking pretty sweet. Great Lakes Grooming is meant to be easy and ready to use, rain or shine. All their products are purposely designed and environmentally responsible. They're handmade in Ontario, Canada, and ready for adventure wherever one may find themselves. And for you lucky listeners, you can get 10% off on Great Lakes Grooming's regular price products by going to www.greatlakesgrooming.com and using the promo code DrDCPodcast. That's www.greatlakesgrooming.com, and the promo code is DRDCPodcast. And now on to the show.
And we're back.
There's like one really long.
The crowds go wild.
We got some emails.
God, you gotta turn up those fans.
Can I grab a second glass? I'm just gonna have a beer instead of rum.
You did. You also missed a question.
Did I?
Yeah, I forgot to bold the name.
Oh, shit, Dick.
That's okay.
All right, let's go.
We've all had that problem.
Phoenix person.
We haven't. No, we have not. Colin, just keep going, man.
It's like roulette, man. Eventually, you're gonna get.
No, that's not what it's like. Colin, we got this.
I think Colin might be a little drunk.
No. Phoenix person. Is there a Marvel character you would like to see switch sides and come over to DC?
I love this question. Sorry.
I figured you would. Actually, well, here, Alex.
Alex is breathing very heavily.
Why don't you give this the first? Why don't you give us the first answer? Is there a Marvel character you think would like fit well in the DCU that you'd want to see come over?
I just want to say that I love this question because it just reminds me of that time that Marvel stole the Flash. which I don't know if you guys have ever talked about, but
we haven't.
yeah, Marvel
for it.
stole the Flash for a bit around.
What? Really?
Because Barry Allen died by just running into the Speed Force until he evaporated.
Oh,
and
yes.
He left the story bookended so that he could come back if they ever wanted him.
Back in
And
time.
then, I can't remember what they named him, but this very, like, happy-go-lucky blonde man in a red suit that the insignia was, like, burned off of, just, like, popped into Marvel one day, and he could run really fast. And everyone's like, who are you? And he said, I have no memory. And they stole the Flash for a while.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, totally.
How did that work?
Well, because they didn't name names, they didn't steal insignia, like they didn't commit any sort of like actual trademark infringement, but they were basically implied that
There's this real red fast guy.
yeah. They basically implied that after being like thrown into the Speed Force, he ended up on the 616, like Earth, which is the Marvel main continuity. But
I would say that if there were any, like, actual Marvel characters that I would want folded in, it would be, like, maybe like the Punisher or something.
oh shit,
Oh, you took my answer. Oh, it's a great that's a great one.
Like, either the main Punisher or, like, or even one of the, like, ridiculous 2099 iterations.
well, I was going to
of it.
say like current Punisher where he has the War Machine armor,
Fuck, that's so rad. Oh my god.
like
Well,
that would be pretty
That would be
messed
pretty
up.
I don't know. Did you ever read any of Punisher 2099?
I haven't. No.
So it's basically works as a parody of Judge Dredd.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's
That's
just the Punisher is
rad.
Judge Dredd, and it's how ridiculous.
I am the law.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
There's I think he can fly by the power of sheer hate or something. Like, someone gave me a crash course of this thing once, and they're like, read this issue and I'll tell you what else happened.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, I think the Punisher would be a good fit because it would, like, DC is a lot of very street level and realistic heroes combined with, like, batshit ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, like gods, like literal and figurative gods. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is a god, and here's his teammate, a guy who wears a mask without a face, who is a detective.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's true. Yeah, they really run the gamut. Yeah.
Or like, here's a god, and here's a guy who traveled back in time and just knows about stuff.
Right.
So I just
Right.
think that, like, just having a man who's just killing people would just make a very interesting dynamic to see him go up against, like that morality meets Superman's morality.
Yeah, to me, the Punisher represents that version of Batman that decides that he has to use his contingency plans.
It's what if Batman didn't have his morality.
Yeah.
Is it Owlman?
Well, Owlman is the Earth 3 one, but he doesn't kill Ultraman like the Earth 3 Superman. They work together. It's more like the dark multiverse thing that's happening right now. There's like the Batman of several dark multiverse Earths have turned against the Justice League. So I think it's almost like that. Yeah. Colin, do you have an answer to this?
Yes.
Can you think of a Marvel character that you'd want to see in DC?
Either like Thor or Hulk.
Okay, and like reasoning, like just because of the sheer power, or is this you building up to someone that can take down Superman?
Not yet.
Okay.
But just because I don't think that there are like robustly dangerous and large size characters in DC in that way.
Interesting. I mean, the Hulk's power is
It's just brute
so
strength.
off the chart,
Yeah.
though, too. Like, there are big characters
And the reason why I picked Thor
like
is
Grundy or things like that.
the
But
reason why I picked Thor is because he kind of fits into that like God's like style of character that we see in DC.
it would be neat to see him interact with like Aquaman, Wonder Woman, characters who trace their
totally.
lineage to like the
Back to
Greco-Roman.
Greek mythology.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, the Hulk one's interesting. Like I said, like there's characters like Grundy or like Mongol.
Nice try, Teach.
or-
Trying to catch me on my phone like I'm not listening. Boom, gotcha. I was ready for this one.
I'm impressed with that. You were looking things up. That was
No, I was on my
great.
Instagram.
Of course you were. Got to check your hair somehow. Richard.
Day.
So for me, one was
Can
obviously...
you not chew into the mic, please? Because
you son of a bitch. Punisher, I think, would be awesome. I think he already feels like...
we got that question.
Yeah, I know. I was...
Learn how to check your Instagram and come up with an answer at the same time.
So my next answer would be Black Panther.
Okay. Let's do it.
I think like the Wayne Enterprises Wakanda would be a great partnership. I really love to see that. I think those two would be awesome together. I think like seeing Batman and Black Panther together, it seems like it makes like a lot of sense to me, and I think like both their resources together could do a lot.
In a way, he's almost like the idea of Batman and the idea of Aquaman like put together. I mean, like he fits in at home. He doesn't have Aquaman's identity issues, but like that being the ruler of a nation and having the sort of playboy billionaire kind of thing. Yeah.
Ready for this?
Sure.
Black Woman.
I actually think that Aquaman and Black Panther actually would get along really well. I think like that their personalities and stuff. Also, that name makes a lot of sense. Or Hyperion, who's supposed to be Superman anyways. It was basically their...
Wait, I thought Sentry was Marvel's...
I think Hyperion specifically was supposed to be.
Oh, okay. I don't know enough about these characters to really know. Alex,
I think either of them.
Do you have better knowledge of this?
Or way to shut me down like a motherfucker.
At the start of the comment, when you said Hyperion, Sentry was who I thought of.
Yeah.
And now I'm just very confused.
Yeah.
I do.
I guess I need to read some more Marvel.
They're very, very, very similar. Yeah. I think there's a lot of misconstrued of who thinks that who belongs to what.
Right.
Moon Knight as well. But
I think the Marvel character that I would like to see in DC would be, I think it's like Scarlet Witch.
Oh, I mean that feels like right out of a page. DC.
There are characters with like similar-ish powers, like ones that can manipulate like luck and chance. But I think Scarlet Witch's like weird kind of like probability-based powers are a thing that isn't really like touched on too much in DC. And she's one of those characters that could be very like dangerous. DC deals, I think, with the reality altering and maybe more directly than Marvel does. I mean, Marvel's had a ton of retcons too, but I think DC like outright says like reality got altered in a way that Marvel doesn't always necessarily. So it'd be neat to have a character in there who's kind of like tapped into that idea of like she can make the least probable or possible things actually happen. I'd be kind of curious about that, I think.
So let's check some emails.
Let's do it.
Check the emails.
Do you want to do another take on that?
Nah, that was pretty good. On the sliding scale.
Right?
I'll take it.
I love that we're sliding down.
Yeah.
Buddy, I'm off the fucking scale at this
Dave
point.
Rossi asks, we know Colin has, well, let's call it a healthy dislike of Superman. That's a statement. Very true. Are there characters that the Doctor and Richard hate as well? And why?
Ooh.
And you can't say Colin. That's in there.
God
also.
damn it.
Characters that I hate.
Did you say Matt Damon?
No, that's funny.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Character that I hate. I don't like Guy Gardner. I know he's near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. I know that people like him because he's kind of like a scrapper and he's like the lovable outsider. I hate Guy Gardner. I have never liked him. I can't get behind him. I think he's a terrible Green Lantern. I think he's a great Red Lantern. But I hate Guy Gardner. I would.
So hold on. Do you hate Guy Gardner, or do you hate him as a Green Lantern? Because
in general, I hate him.
Okay.
And if he wasn't a Green Lantern, then why is he in the comic book? It's kind of, I think, where I come down with it. He's in the comic book because he's a Green Lantern, but he's not a good enough character to just stand on his own. Like Hal, after he was Green Lantern and Parallax, he was the Spectre for a bit. Like Hal had other things to do, and I think a lot of characters do.
I'm busy.
Guy Gardner, yeah, I don't like him. I'm sorry, Green Lantern fans. I'm sure I'm pissing a bunch of people off right now, but I hate Guy Gardner.
But you have to admit that Guy Gardner is almost perfect character design, like from an aesthetic of like
you want to hate him.
Yeah, you're just like, who is this jackass?
He's got a
mushroom cut and
a double-breasted vest,
sleeve, popped collar, lime green leather jacket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Flying through space, solving
Double-breasted,
crime.
no less, yeah. Yeah, no,
Double breast, no less.
I agree. From a character design perspective, you're probably not supposed to like him all that much. But I mean, he's been around for so long, and I know a lot of people think like that's their favorite Green Lantern. I hate him so much.
He's a perfect heel. He's doing his job.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe that's the point. Yeah. Richard?
Bartor.
We've talked about him. That's a pretty shitty character.
He's a dick. He's a dick to Barry for no reason. He's a founding member of the New 52's Teen Titans, right? He's an asshole. He's like a fake Kid Flash from the future. He's
he's like a fake Bart Allen, basically.
Exactly. No. He's an asshole. I don't like him. I think he's a piece of shit.
But you know what? That one's very fair because a lot of people hate Bartor. That's a really terrible version of a Bart Allen to bring into the continuity. And
my son's also name is Bartor.
Alex.
Like, I would say a character I really like when done right, but I don't like the majority of the time. That I don't know if is even still a relevant person to talk about is Killer Moth or Tyraxis. Like, I love Tyraxis.
Oh God, you're going to oh shit, yeah.
Like
Drury Walker, the Killer Moth, yeah.
Yeah. Like, he started out and he was just like a decent super criminal. He wasn't a super villain.
Yeah.
And he figured out he had a way to make money was he would let criminals pay him money to distract Batman.
Yeah.
Which is a really amazing concept.
Yeah.
And I think I read one of the early ones and it was like a really cool thing because it was like these criminals were trying to like rob a bank or something and they're just like, all right, we're going to pay this guy and he's going to like, he was kind of like, it was like Wrath, right? He was like an earlier version of Wrath.
Yeah, I mean, Wrath, I think, is like a slightly more nuanced version of what the original Killer Moth idea was.
Yeah, it was like...
he's like the anti-Batman.
Yeah. He was like...
Instead of helping...
The prototype of that character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then there was like just years and years of him as a joke character that would just get caught immediately and he'd show up in things. And then there was this amazing run of comics in like the mid-90s where B-grade and sometimes like just top of the rogues gallery Batman villains were selling their soul to the devil.
To Neron.
And I think what the Joker sold his soul for like a box of cigars and something.
Yep.
And there was like a bunch of really good stuff done with it. And
Killer Moth.
Killer Moth, he wanted to be feared.
Yeah.
And so he became this awesome living cross between a moth and a human being that just ate people that got in his way. And like, I like that. And I like the original version, but I just like...
It's funny that you mentioned that.
Disappointed me.
Killer Moth showed up in the most recent Detective Comics. He's shown up again. And he was in the New 52 Green Arrow. Killer Moth showed up a few times.
Yeah.
Slightly different like design in that, but it was still Drury Walker, I'm pretty sure. And
I think there's something to be said for a lot of B-grade Batman villains work better as a Green Arrow villain.
Which is a real like indictment of Green Arrow as a hero.
Well, Green Arrow's like almost Batman, but different enough that he can do things. So if you have something that's not working in Gotham, you can just send it over there and have them fight the mayor.
That's true. I think that's a good point. Yeah, totally.
So we're going to jump on our last question on email here. Chad Bokelman.
Bogle.
Can you define or characterize each Green Lantern as you see them? You can leave off Jessica and Simon if you want, but I think you're keeping up with that title, so feel free. I ask because Jon Stewart in particular seems to be defined in the past by the things that happened to him, angry black architect with a chip on his shoulder, or the Cosmic Odyssey events, or him being a Marine. I'd like to know how you view these characters.
Right, so the one word that we missed in here is to define the Earth Green Lanterns, not all 7,200 current Green
did I say
Lanterns.
each?
Now, what about the Green Bell? Let's define him.
Yeah. We can finally talk about Gnort. No.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, so the Earth Green Lanterns, Do you have, maybe for one or two of them, do you have like a thing that you would like define the different Green Lanterns by? Like a word or a phrase? Like for like Hal Jordan, for example. Let's start with like the big one.
Well, yeah, I would say that like Hal Jordan, while not being the actual classic Green Lantern, is the modern classic Green Lantern.
Yeah, of course.
And so I'd say he's basically like the untouchable, like, to like just do a convoluted metaphor using comic books. Like, he's the untouchable archetype. He's like the Superman of the Green Lanterns.
Right.
Like, even though he's been corrupted terribly, and we use that as a way to see how strong he is.
Right.
To better understand him when he's at his best.
Yeah. He's like the indomitable will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Hal Jordan is like, if any of those Earth Green Lanterns were just will incarnate, it's Hal Jordan.
And then, like, Guy Gardner is the, like, let's put, like, pockets on the ankles and, like, have Todd McFarlane design everything. Like, 90s splendor of the Green Lanterns of Earth.
Yeah.
And John is just your mid-ground. You're very, like, approachable. Like, if we're having Hal Jordan as a guardian of just everything, Hal Jordan is a man who can face all of Earth's problems, and Guy Gardner is a man who, like, looks after one city.
Right.
He's like the street level Green Lantern. Like,
yeah.
He doesn't stray too far. And then I don't, who's the one becomes the White Lantern later on?
Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle Rayner.
I don't know much about Kyle Rayner. And I'll be honest about that. And the one thing that I do want to read more of is the new ones, because there's like, I heard about the one where like someone gets like the there's like the ring that's all the spectrums or something.
The Phantom Ring.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's the Green Lanterns series. That's Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz, who are the most recent kind of Earth Green Lanterns. And they have to deal with the Phantom Ring, which is one that anyone can wear, and it can wield any of the colors of the emotional spectrum.
Oh, okay.
It's not a White Lantern ring. It's not white light. It's not all the colors combined. It's you can wield any of them.
Yeah, so it's individual rings at a time, but it can be any.
Yes.
Okay, well that makes sense, and that's a good answer to the White Lantern.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. If I was trying to give like a single like word or quick phrase to each of them, I've already said Hal to me is like indomitable will. John Stewart to me is like the thinker. And it might be because of his time in the military, but he's the one that he's trying to plan. He's trying to be surgical almost in a way. Guy Gardner is the brawler, right? He's blunt force. He's not the thinker, but you can count on him. He's loyal. You can, he'll be there for you.
He's the Booster Gold level superhero.
Now be there. He makes me think. Actually, do you know what? In like the Legends of Tomorrow TV show, do you know who, like character wise, fills that gap? Is Heatwave? Is Mick Rory? He's you don't want to be around him. He's not like a good guy, but you can count on him. He has some sort of sense of loyalty inside that like drives him. Kyle Rayner is the feeler. I think he's in touch with his feelings better than any of them. Like, he'll do the right thing. Hal won't necessarily always do the right thing. He'll maybe do the tough thing, but not necessarily the right one. Kyle, to me, is like the moral compass of those Earth Green Lanterns. Jessica is the overcoming fear. I mean, you can make the argument that that's the same thing as the indomitable will thing, but to me, it's like she's dealing with her own demons in a way that Hal hasn't or doesn't usually. And Simon is I don't love Simon. But I think if I had to define him, he's the one, where everyone else I think feels like they've earned the ring in some way. Even Jessica, I think, feels like she's earned the ring in some way. Simon, to me, feels like the guy that the ring came to, and he still doesn't think he should have it. So he's the one that's like maybe like the reluctant hero, or he doesn't even see himself as the hero. He's trying to figure out what that means, but he's sort of discovering it as he goes. Hal Jordan is a guy that he's like a fighter pilot. He was like, yeah, I'm a hero. Give me the ring. I'll save the day. Whereas Simon, I think,
here's
like,
my dick. Look how big it is. So green and phantasmic.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's how I'd probably define them. Yeah. Any, like, final, like, geeky thoughts, Alex, before we finish up?
In general or about anything? Like,
well, DC is preferable. What are you reading right now? Other than Future's End, what are you reading right now?
Well, I've been really into Prophet, but like the image stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. Do you guys differentiate off DC a lot? I would recommend it to anyone.
Almost only in terms of like, how would you compare these things? That's typically how that works. But so let's do that. What DC book would you say is most similar to Prophet? If you're reading X DC book, you would like Prophet.
So if you started reading Future's End, and when they were in the future and all the robots were coming,
and it seemed real cool,
yeah,
you should read Prophet because it's that mindset of like,
right?
Hey, remember this thing from like the late 90s? Yeah, this is it 1,000 years from now.
Sure. Right.
Ooh.
And it's just a really cool thing, and because like all of Image's stuff is just, hey, here's the edgy version of this Marvel or DC character.
It's true, yeah.
So it's just like there was the Image like classic Superman allegory was like a mixture of Superman and Captain Atom, basically, right?
Right.
So there's like a scene where they're like going on this, they go to a planet or a spaceship of this like super developed race, and that person's decaying corpse,
right,
of like basically a Captain Atom, or a Dr. Manhattan character's
right,
like dead irradiated corpse,
right,
is in this chamber, and it's being used to power a civilization,
right.
And so it's like that wrap up of a continuity, and
Sure.
It's just like this insane thing. And I really recommend it to anybody who's looking for something.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming to join us on our insane recording quest today.
Today was a bad idea. Not Alex, just everything.
Oh, well, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, no, this is like, we're stoked that you're here. I'm stoked that you're here. I'm not stoked that we're all here, though.
Well,
12 hours of podcasting is going to be the end of my life.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Hi, we've got a lot of good questions, though, today.
That's
yeah,
true.
so many.
We always get good questions.
What if we can... How can I... Like, I'm drunk.
You can find us on Facebook, Dr. DC Podcast, Instagram, Dr. DC Podcast,
don't
on
be
Twitter.
No, hold on.
Dr.
Hold on.
DC.
Stop. You're being mean.
Because I can hold my liquor.
We did this to him.
All right.
You gave
We
me...
did this to him.
There's
just
so
really throwing me
many...
under the bus.
There were so many drinks in my drink.
All right, let's keep going. I've done Facebook.
Email at...
Dr. DC Podcast at
Did you do Instagram already?
I did.
You can check us out as our website.
DrDCPodcast.com
And
or
don't
.ca.
forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or whatever it is that you use to stream us.
Zune.
Mini discs.
That's right.
Whatever you do it. Well, Alex, thank you for joining us. He's in a fit of laughter right now.
We did it.
Some kind of sign off.
Adios.
Me drunkie, please help me.
Aquaman, all the superheroes. They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure.